I took a cold plunge for 30 days and this is what happened. Brrr, that's what happened. But in addition to that, I have experienced some changes. Wim Hof told me that after 10 days, it begins to alter your psyche and you begin to feel the benefits. I love Wim Hof. There's a link in the description to Wim Hof's app. Wim Hof, he's the man. These techniques I learned from him. One, the breathing. When he does it, man, sometimes he does it like a Viking. Even that's given me a little head rush.
I do it like this. Okay, with your mind, follow your breath. Go on, go on. Fill up your belly, your chest, everything you got. Fully in. Letting go. Fully in. Letting go.
And the cold technique, if you don't have a cold plunge, you can do a cold bath, because I recognise no one's got a cold plunge. A plunge is a type of bath. You just fill up a bath with cold water. Some people are super hardcore. They get a freezer, like one of them ones you'd see in a supermarket, fill it with water so it's on the precipice of freezing the whole time, and get in that. Me, it's basically just a cold water bath, fully immersive. I find that easier than a cold shower, because a cold shower's hitting you, isn't it, intermittently and sort of incrementally covering you. I need to be fully immersed totally so you don't feel the kind of Sometimes my wife does a cold plunge. She gets in there very slowly, one toe then another toe, slowly easing herself into it. I think that's the worst way of doing it. I want it over, because once you're fully immersed, it's better. I feel different. The benefits are said to include increasing your metabolism, that it's said that it will also obviously reduce sort of swelling and inflammation. Wim Hof says that goes down to almost a kind of molecular level, the decreasing in inflammation, which helps your immune system. What has been scientifically proven by Wim Hof and the people that studied him, there's loads of proof of this, you can Google it for yourself, is that he healed himself and taught another 10 people how to heal themselves from bacterial infection, suggesting that there's positive benefits to the immune system, not just the exposure to cold, but the breath techniques in conjunction. And that is what I've been doing, exposing myself to cold and doing these breathing techniques. Let's see what Wim Hof's got to say about it, straight from the horse's mouth, as it were. The cold is your warm friend. I'm not going to do it in his voice. The cold is your warm friend, and one of the 3 pillars of the Wim Hof method. Proper exposure to the cold starts a cascade of health benefits, including the build-up of brown adipose tissue. I don't like the idea of brown adipose tissue, because a brown tissue provokes a very strong image and not a pleasant one. And resultant fat loss, reduced inflammation that facilitates a fortified immune system. Who doesn't need that? Balanced hormone levels, improved sleep quality, and the production of endorphins, the feel-good chemicals in the brain that naturally elevate your mood. Why don't we promote these methods like breath techniques, other yogic techniques, exercise, meditation, things that encourage general health benefits, instead of saying, you know, do these pharmaceutically beneficial things to stay well, or, you know, man, this is just seems to me a good way to stay fit and healthy. The main barrier, which I've somewhat overcome, is the mental resistance to doing anything new that places the body in discomfort. No one wants to feel cold. Tony Robbins, before Wim Hof, was the first person that I heard about cold plunging, and he said, I tell myself, you're getting in that cold. And I go, could you do the same thing? Like, okay, you're going to get in that cold. It's not going to be very nice. I like to gently coax myself in. That said, the quicker you're under it, the better. How I actually feel is, you know, like at the beginning, because I do mine at the beginning of the day, and maybe, like, I know some people that burst upright into the day, face beaming, eyes wide open. Me, like the morning, I feel like, oh God, a day, awake, life, it's still going on. I can't take this. And the sooner I immerse myself in cold water, it kind of operates as a reset. I do, because I'm safe to do so in the bath that I'm doing it in, 2 rounds of the 30 breaths. You know, like now, Wim Hof doesn't suggest doing that in case you passed out in that bath and you might drown. Me, I can't drown because I'm sort of wedged in the space that I'm in. But you should, make adjustments that are appropriate to the situation you're in. I don't want to suggest an exercise to you that ends your life, but Wim Hof, you may know, discovered these techniques and refined these techniques after the loss of his wife through suicide. So trauma and pain, I feel like in themselves open new neurological spaces in you, new hormonal spaces, new biochemical spaces. Like, when you're grieving or you're heartbroken or you're in pain, parts of your stomach and your heart come alive that you couldn't feel before, parts of your face. Well, engaging in a process like this sort of pushes you through that into new places. You can't kind of avoid pain in life, can you? Pain is coming, heartbreak, loss, etc. But if you have a yogic practice, and I would argue this is a type of yoga and that Wim Hof is a yogi of sorts, then you are using that pain, that suffering, to alter the shape of your psyche, to alter your consciousness, to alter your being. The first few days I found it hard. Day 3, 4, I got used to it. Now I find it natural and ordinary to do it. For me, it's a necessary part of my routine. If you're going to do a 30-day cold plunge, cold bath, cold shower challenge, here's some things I'd recommend. Find some other people to do it with. I started this off, because I'm privileged enough to have a friendship with Wim Hof. So like when I saw that dude breathing like this, I thought, man, that guy is a yogic thunderlord. Like, I got to be like that. Look, even his energy, even as an impersonation, makes my dog move. And like one of my mentors did it as well. Like, and he's doing it. He's been doing it every day as well. It's nice to know that other people are doing it with you. So even if they're not literally in the cold bath, plunge or shower with you, it's nice to know that they're symbolically doing it with you. You can check in with each other. So that's one technique. Set yourself a little target for how long you want to stay in there. I do a couple of rounds of the breathing and then I stay there for as long as I can, like how you hold your breath with Wim Hof breathing. You do 30 inhales, exhales, as I've demonstrated. Then on the final exhale, you hold it out and you just leave it out until you can't stand no more. Then you take a big inhale and hold that for 15. That constitutes a round of Wim Hof breathing. All this is described in Wim Hof's app and elsewhere in Wim Hof's work. So I reckon I stay in there for 5 or 6 minutes. So that's what I would suggest doing, and that's what I would suggest you do too. Now, 30 days in, it just feels normal to me. Just before I came here, I took my dog for a walk near the river and I got right in that River Thames and swam for a while in there. It's nothing to me now, the cold. I remember when I first started doing stuff around cold water, I was such a no, oh my God, stand. Now, I'm right in there. It's one of the few situations in life where I get to look tough. When I had Wim Hof on my podcast, Under the Skin, available on Luminary, you can get it off Apple. I have a brilliant guest every week. The Wim Hof episode's on there. And actually, that's elsewhere on YouTube. You can get it on there, but Luminary podcast, terrific stuff. Me and him, we went in that cold water. We swam together with my dog. We hung out. We had a good chat. We played music. What I think about Wim as a man and this method by association is that it's a way of creating the feeling that we sort of associated with the countercultural movements of the 60s, that it gives you a sort of ability to think critically, by which I mean analyze things from a position of awareness, that it gives you a life force, a libido, a sense of power, possibility, hope, optimism, but that isn't necessarily based on individual attainment and individual gain. There is still every reason for healthy people to keep cold showers or swim outside in cold water. It gives the feeling you're alive. It does that. It's invigorating. I suggest you make this a part of your fitness regime. It's part of mine. I also do yoga. I do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu when appropriate. I do exercise bike stuff. I do running. I try to exercise a lot. I think it's vital. And this is a really critical component in my wellness. Why don't you, in the comments below, tell me about your own experiences with immersion in cold or how it made you feel? Me, now that I've done it for 30 days, I think I'm going to do it forever. I've got no plans to stop it. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to learn more about it. Tell me what you think in the comments. Subscribe to this channel, Awakening, because there's always new stuff on how you can improve your life and improve your awareness. And if you want to get deeper with meditation with me, go over to Luminary, where you can get Under the Skin and also Above the Noise, my guided meditation podcast, 1 a week. Also, sign up for my mailing list at russellbrand.com, and if you want to see me do a live special, our little lives, me doing stand-up comedy and Shakespeare, can you imagine There's a link in the description to that as well. Keep exposing yourself to cold, keep breathing. You literally have to, otherwise you'll die. But do proper breathing to elevate your consciousness and change your life. That's what's happened to me over the last 30 days.